and it reduces atherosclerosis and inhibits oxidation of vitamin A as it is antioxidant. So it inhibits oxidation of vitamin A and unsaturated fatty acid. Now let's look at the other options. Vitamin A, it is retinol. Vitamin C is ascorbic acid. As you can see here, retinol, it is vitamin A. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C. Phyloquinone, vitamin K, important in clotting of blood, vitamin K. I hope you are clear with all the options of this question. So the answer is vitamin E, tocopherol. Now let's move to the next question of today. Scurvy is caused due to deficiency of vitamin. Option A, option B, option C, E, option D, C. So the answer to this question is option D, vitamin C. So firstly, let's discuss what vitamin C do. It is necessary for collagen production and iron absorption. It is necessary for collagen production and iron absorption, but its deficiency causes scurvy. And what are the symptoms in scurvy? Bleeding of gums, disturbance of protein metabolism, and increase susceptibility to infections. So that is vitamin C deficiency, scurvy. Now let's look at other vitamins deficiency. Vitamin A, xerophthalmia, that is night blindness. Vitamin B, beriberi, and vitamin E is miscarriage. Deficiency of vitamin E results in miscarriage. I hope you are all clear with the deficiency of all the vitamins given in this question. So scurvy is due to the vitamin deficiency of vitamin C. Hence option D is the correct answer of this question. Now let's move to the next question. The contraction of gallbladder is due to option A, gastrin, option B, secretin, option C, cholecystokinin, option D, enterokinase. So the answer to this question is option C, cholecystokinin. So the contraction of gallbladder is due to cholecystokinin, and it is the GIT hormone, or and it is secreted by the cells of duodenum. Cells of duodenum secrete the cholecystokinin, and what is the stimulus for it? Presence of fatty and amino acids. So whenever the fatty acids and amino acids came in small intestine, this hormone is released. And what is the function of this hormone? It stimulates the release of bile into the intestine by contracting gallbladder. So by contracting gallbladder, it stimulates the release of bile, and it also causes the secretion of pancreatic enzymes. So these are the two important functions. Now let's look at the functions of other hormone mentioned in the question: gastrin, secretin, and enterokinase. So gastrin and secretin, both are polypeptide hormones. So what is gastrin? It is concerned with the stomach, released by the pyloric glands of stomach. And what is the function? Secretion of gastric juice. So its function is secretion of gastric juice and into the bloodstream and the churning movement of stomach. And what is secretin? It is secreted by the mucosa of duodenum and jejunum. So secretin, it is secreted by the mucosa of duodenum and jejunum. And what is causes? It causes stimulates secretion of water and bicarbonates in bile. So it secretes the water and bicarbonates in bile and activates pancreas to secrete pancreatic juice. So I hope you are clear with gastrin and secretin. Now enterokinase. Enterokinase, what is enterokinase? It is an enzyme secreted from duodenum glands crypts of Lieberkühn. So duodenum secretes enterokinase. And what is the function of enterokinase? It converts inactive trypsinogen to active trypsin. And what trypsin does? It is used for digestion of proteins, trypsin. I hope you are clear with all the functions of the four hormones mentioned in the question, but the contraction of gallbladder is due to option C, cholecystokinin. I hope this question is clear to you. Now let's move to the next question of today. Next question is, it is still the very good question. The function of renin is option A, vasodilation, option B, reduced blood pressure, option C, degradation of angiotensinogen, option D, none of the above. So you have doubts that there are two renin. So, but the answer to this question is option D, none of these. None of these is the answer of this question. How? Let's see. There are two renin. First renin is in which there is only one N. What is function? It converts angiotensinogen into angiotensin. So renin, it acts a hormone secreted by the JG cells. So JG cells in kidney, whenever the RAS mechanism is activated, it converts angiotensinogen into angiotensin. But in the question, the renin is this one, also called rennet or chymosin. So what is it? It is the coagulating enzyme produced from the stomach of human body. What is the function of it? It catalyzes the coagulation of milk. How? By converting milk into with soluble protein casein. So it converts casein into insoluble semi-fluid calcium paracasinate. So that's how it causes the curdling of milk, renin. But renin is produced in the infants immediately after birth. Infants, it is produced in higher quantity, but as the child grows, renin production is decreased. Why? Renin production is decreased and its function is replaced by pepsin. Its function is replaced by pepsin that is released by the stomach. So renin concentration decreases as the person grows, passes from infants and grows in age. I hope you are clear with this question and the difference between the renin that is secreted by the JG cells and that is present in the stomach of the infants. I hope this question is clear to you. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, liver in our body stores option A, vitamin A, option B, vitamin D, option C, vitamin B12, option D, all of these. So the answer to this question is option D, all of these. So as you all know, liver, it is the largest organ of the body. It helps in digestion and removes waste products and worn out cells from the blood. So what is the function of liver? It forms and secretes bile that contains bile acids, that contains bile acids that aid in the intestinal absorption, taking in of fats and fat soluble vitamins. What are fat soluble vitamins? Vitamin A, D, E, K. Hence, it stores vitamins A, D, E, K, and vitamin B12. So, liver acts the storage for vitamin A, D, E, K, and B12. Hence, option D, all of these is the correct answer for this question. I hope you are all clear with this question that liver in our body stores all these vitamins. Now, let's move to the next question. Next question is, vitamin C is also called as option A, ascorbic acid, option B, glutamic acid, option C, aspartic acid, option D, enolic acid. I hope this question I have discussed with in the of the first question of the class, in which I told you what is the other name of vitamin C. So the answer to this question is option A, ascorbic acid. So vitamin C, it is the water soluble vitamin. It is the water soluble vitamin. and it is known as ascorbic acid. What is the function? Collagen, make collagen, important protein used to make skin, cartilage, tendons, ligaments, and blood vessels. And another essential function of vitamin C is healing wounds and for repairing and maintaining bones and teeth. So its important function is healing wounds and repairing and maintaining bones and teeth. So whenever there is a deficiency of vitamin C, the disease which I discussed earlier with you in this class, scurvy is caused, in which the symptoms is bleeding of gums. I hope this question is clear to all of you. This is the easy question I have discussed with you earlier also in this class. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, Brunner's glands are present in option A, duodenum, option B, esophagus, option C, ileum, option D, stomach. So the answer to this question is option A, duodenum. So Brunner's glands, these are compound tubular gland. These are compound tubular gland and found only in the submucosa of duodenum. It is very important. It is found in the submucosal layer of duodenum. So that's the important fact. And what is the function of it? It produces mucoid fluid. It produces mucus. And how mucus helps us? It protects the duodenal mucosa from acidic chyme coming from the stomach. So this is the stomach, for example. From here, the acidic chyme reaches the duodenum. So to protect from the acidic chyme, it releases mucoid fluid so that the stomach is, duodenal mucosa is protected from the acidic chyme. I hope this question is clear to all of you. The Brunner's gland are present in duodenum. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, which of the following has minimum pH? Option A, bile. Option B, saliva. Option C, gastric juice. Option D, pancreatic juice. So the answer to this question is answers option C, gastric juice. So first let's see the pH of all the options given in the question. pH of bile is 8. pH of bile is 8. Saliva is 6.7. Pancreatic juice is 8.8. Stomach is 2. So the minimum pH is of the stomach. Stomach is, gastric juice is acidic. It has minimum pH. For the actions of proteolytic enzymes like pepsin, minimum pH is required. For pepsin to work, minimum pH is required. That is provided by the HCl. So HCl provide this pH of 2 in stomach. Hence, stomach has the minimum pH of 2. So gastric juice has minimum pH released in the stomach. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Now let's move to the next question. Which of the following teeth are lophodont? Option A, incisor and canine. Option B, premolar and molar. Option C, canine and premolar. Option D, premolar and incisor. So the answer to this question is option B, premolar and molar. So premolar and molar, they are lophodont teeth. What are lophodont teeth? They are have cusp elongated to form narrow ridges. So lophodont teeth and lophodont teeth cusps are elongated to form narrow ridges, and it is found in elephants and horses that have cusp fused by a means of intermediate masses of dentine. So the intermediate masses of dentine form ridges or lobes. So the answer is premolar and molar are lophodont teeth. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Now let's move to the next question. Wharton's duct is the duct of option A, parotid gland. Option B, sublingual gland. Option C, submaxillary gland. Option D, pancreatic gland. So the answer to this question is op- option C, submaxillary or submandibular gland. So it is the duct of submaxillary or submandibular gland, and it opens into the floor of the mouth on the papilla at the side of frenulum of tongue. So it is, and its function is to drain the saliva. Wharton's duct, it is the duct of submaxillary gland. I hope this question is clear to you. It is the direct question. Wharton's duct is the duct of submaxillary or submandibular gland. Now let's look at the ducts of other salivary glands. Its duct name is Tenson's duct, parotid gland, and its sublingual gland as Ravenous duct. So if you remember these, it would help you in future. I hope you are clear with all the ducts of the salivary glands present in our body. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is continued consumption of a diet rich in butter, red meat, and eggs for a long period may lead to option A, vitamin A toxicity, option B, kidney stones, option C, hypercholesterolemia, option D, urine laden with ketone bodies. So the answer to this question is option C, hypercholesteremia. So continued consumption of fat-rich diet causes hypercholesteremia. And what is hypercholesteremia? It is the high levels of cholesterol in our blood. So what is the risk of high cholesterol? It raises risk for heart disease, heart attack, and stroke. So that is hypercholesteremia. It is very harmful for our body, and it raises our risk for heart disease, heart attack, and stroke. Now let's look at the other options. Kidney stones. What are kidney stones? These are solid mass made of tiny crystals. So there are different types of kidney stones. The exact cause depends on the type of stone. For example, calcium stone, uric acid stone, etc. So vitamin A toxicity. What is vitamin A toxicity? It is hypervitaminosis A, means too much of vitamin A in our body. Vitamin A toxicity. Now option D was ketonuria. What is ketonuria? In the condition in which ketone bodies are urine laden with ketone bodies, that is ketonuria. So in this condition, ketone bodies are present in excess. So where are ketone bodies present in excess? During the starvation condition or diabetes mellitus type 1. So in these two conditions, you can find ketone urea, in which also aciduria occurs. The pH become acidic. It is very harmful, ketonuria. Now, I hope this question is clear to all of you. Hypercholesteremia is the answer. Now, let's move to the next question. Next question is, which one of the following pairs of the cells with their secretion is correctly matched? Option A, oxyntic cells, a secretion with pH between 2 and 3. Option B, alpha cells of isolates of Langerhans, secretion that decreases blood sugar level. Option C, Kupffer cells, a digestive enzyme that hydrolyzes nucleic acids. Option D, sebaceous glands, a digestive enzyme that hydrolyzes nucleic acids. So the answer to this question is option A. Option A, oxyntic or parietal cells. So these are the cells, stomach epithelium cells, that secrete gastric acid intrinsic factor hydrochloric acid that makes the gastric juice acidic. pH 2 to 3 is found. Hence, option A is correct statement. Now let's look at the other statement. Alpha cells of isolate of Langerhans, they secretes glucagon. The glucagon is secreted. What is the function of glucagon? It raises glucose level. Glucose level is raised by converting glycogen to glucose in liver cells. But in question, it is mentioned that it decreases. Hence, this is the incorrect option. Decrease is done by insulin. So insulin decreases the blood sugar level. Hence, option B is the incorrect statement. Now, Kupffer cells. These are specialized cells, phagocytic cells in the liver that destroy bacteria, foreign proteins, and worn out blood cells. So these are the phagocytic cells found in the liver. In option B, it is mentioned a digestive enzyme. Hence, it is the incorrect statement. Kupffer cells. Now, sebaceous glands. So sebaceous glands and microscopic glands in the skin that secrete an oily waxy matter called sebum to lubricate the skin and hair of mammals. Hence, option D is the incorrect statement. Now let's move to the which matches true. Vitamin deficiency disease. Option A is severe bleeding. Vitamin tocopherol. Vitamin milk and egg. Option B, anemia by vitamin ascorbic acid. And the food intake. It is wrong. It is food. By taking lemon and orange. Option C, night blindness, vitamin retinol, and the food intake is carrot and milk. Option D, sterility, vitamin calciferol, and food intake is milk and butter. So the answer to this question is the answer to this question is option C, retinol. So retinol is the chemical name of vitamin A, which is mostly found in carrots, milk, cheese, fish, etc. And it is well adapted for light absorption in animals, where it is converted into the light absorbing molecule called retinol. So deficiency of vitamin A affects the rods containing retinol. And what is the disease caused? The night blindness or xerophthalmia. Tocopherol is the chemical name of vitamin E, found mostly in wheat germ oil, brown flour, etc. Its deficiency called sterility, as vitamin A is the anti-sterility factor. Vitamin C, also called as ascorbic acid, found in citrus fruits. It is important: citrus fruits, potatoes, tomatoes, and its deficiency cause painful disease of joints and gums called scurvy. I told you earlier also. Hence, the answer to this question is option C, night blindness, vitamin retinol, intake is carrot milk. Severe bleeding, it is the phyloquinone, vitamin K. Sterility is by the vitamin E. It is not the calciferol, it is the tocopherol. This is incorrect. This is correct. This is also incorrect. It is the scurvy, not anemia. Severe bleeding, tocopherolate should be phyloquinone, vitamin K. Hence, A, B, D are incorrect. Option C is the correct. Now, let's look at the next question. Next question is, a child took sugarcane and sucked its juice. Regarding this, which of the following match is correct? Substrate of enzyme. Option A, proteins. Enzyme secretion is pepsin. Site of formation या formed duodenum, and products are polypeptides. Option B, starch. Enzyme is amylase. Site is salivary glands. Products is glucose. Option C, lipids. Enzyme secretion, lipase globules. Site of formation, pancreas. Products, fat. Option D, sucrose. Enzyme is invertase. Cytoform duodenum, and products are glucose plus fructose. It is not written here, it is glucose plus fructose. Products are glucose plus fructose. Hence, the answer to this question is option D, glucose plus fructose. Answer to this is glucose plus fructose. Glucose plus fructose is the correct answer. So sugarcane are rich sources of sucrose. So these are the rich sources of sucrose. It is found in plants and transported in large quantity by phloem tissue. In human, how sucrose is digested? It is by the enzyme invertase, present in duodenum of small intestine. Present in duodenum of small intestine. What is causing it? Hydrolyzes sucrose into one molecule of glucose plus fructose. So that's clear with the sucrose. Now pepsin. Pepsin is a proteolytic enzyme. What is the function? It hydrolyzes many proteins into peptones. So proteins are converted into peptones by pepsin. What is the saliva of human contains? It contains salivary amylase. Other name is ptyalin. Functions at the pH 6.7 or 6.8. That hydrolyzes starch into maltose, isomaltose, and small dextrins. These are the branched. These are branched. What is the function of lipase? It hydrolyzes triglyceride fat into diglyceride and then into monoglyceride along with fatty acids. Now let's look at the options. Proteins, pepsin, but site of formation is incorrect. Hence this option is incorrect. Starch, enzyme secretion, amylase, correct. Site formation, salivary glands, correct. Products are not glucose, it is maltose, isomaltose, and dextrins. Hence, this option is incorrect. Lipids, enzyme secretion, lipase globules, and it converts into fat into diglycerides and monoglyceride. And hence, this is incorrect. I hope you are clear with the this question. Now let's look at the other question. Which one of the following pairs of the kind of cells and their secretion are correctly matched? I hope this is the secretion. Option A, oxyntic cells, a secretion with pH 2 and 3. Option B, alpha cells of isolates, secretion of Langerhans that decreases blood sugar level. Option C, Kupffer cells, a digestive enzyme that hydrolyzes nucleic acids. Option D, sebaceous glands, a secretion that evaporates for cooling. So it is the previous question we have. It is almost similar to this, but just a slight modification. So answer is parietal cells, also called oxyntic cells, that secrete gastric acid, intrinsic factor, hydraulic hydrochloric acid HCl that provides pH, acidic pH to it. And what is the function of intrinsic uh, factor? That is absorption of vitamin B12. So that is the main function of intrinsic factor. I hope this question is clear to you, as the same type of question I have discussed earlier in my class. Now let's look at the other question. Other question is, fat present below the skin surface in our body acts as a barrier against option A, loss of heat from the body, option B, loss of essential body fluids, option C, loss of salts from the body, option D, entry of harmful microorganisms from the environment. So the answer to this question is option A, loss of heat from the body. So this is the correct answer for this question. Let's look how. So fat present below the surface of skin. So fat is present. It is known as subcutaneous fat deposition. So what is the function of it? It acts as the insulator. And what is the function of by acting it as an insulator? It prevents loss of heat from the body. So that is the function of subcutaneous fat, that is fat present below the skin. Hence option A is the correct answer. Now let's move to the next question of today. Next question is, non-nutritional deficiency condition that needs to be given top priority for remedial action in India today. Option A, scurvy. Option B, rickets. Option C, xerophthalmia. Option D, pellagra. This is the good question. The answer to this question is option C, xerophthalmia. So it is caused by vitamin A deficiency, and it occurs in poorer sections of the society because they do not have adequate amount of fruits in diet that are needed for vitamin A. So hence vitamin A deficiency occurs. That's why the answer is option C, xerophthalmia, that is caused by the deficiency of vitamin A. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Now let's look at the other options. Deficiency, scurvy, it is caused by deficiency of vitamin C. I have told you earlier also. Rickets by vitamin D, also known as calciferol. Vitamin C is ascorbic acid. Pellagra, it's due to lack of deficiency of vitamin B3, and other name is niacin. So deficiency of niacin causes pellagra. I hope this question is clear to all of you. All the deficiencies present in the question. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, what is the average fat content of buffalo milk? Option A, 7.2%. Option B, 4.5%. Option C, 9%. Option D, 10.9%. So it is again the fact-based question. So the answer is option A, 7.2% is the correct answer. So the average fat content in buffalo milk is 7.2%. That is higher than human milk. That is important. This statement is important. So lactose is higher in human milk than cow and buffalo's milk. So this is again a fact-based question. You have to remember the average fat content of buffalo milk. So its value is 7.2%. I hope this question is clear to everyone. Let's move to the next question. Next question is, consumption of fish is considered to be healthy when compared to flesh of the other animals because when compared to flesh of other animals, fish contains option A, polyunsaturated fatty acids, option B, saturated fatty acids, option C, essential vitamins, Option D, more carbohydrates and proteins. So the answer to this question is option A. So fish has polyunsaturated fatty acids that acts as natural antioxidant. So fish has the polyunsaturated fatty acid that acts as natural antioxidant. That's why it is advisable to eat fish that rather than the flesh of other animals. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is endoscopy, a technique used to explore the stomach or other inner parts of the body, is based on the phenomena of option A, total internal reflection, option B, interference, option C, diffraction, option D, polarization. I hope you are clear all with all these terms you have studied in physics. So endoscopy. So the answer to this question is option A, TIR. That is total internal reflection. So endoscopy, it is a technique used to explore the stomach or other inner parts of the body. That is based on the technique total internal reflection. Total internal reflection that you will study in physics. I hope this is clear to you, this question. Let's move to the next question. Next question is letharism is caused by excessive consumption of option A, kesri dal, option B, mustard oil, option C, polished rice, option D, mushrooms. It is a good question, an important one. So the answer to this question is option A, kesri dal. So kesri dal is the answer. How? Let's see. So letharism, it is caused by eating seeds of species of Lethyrus. What is Lethyrus? It is the grass pea. So the name is Lethyrus sativus, the chickpea or kesri. So this mainly cause Lethyrus icera, flat-podded vetch, and Lethyrus clymenum, Spanish vetchling. So beta oxalyl amino alanine acid, BOAA, its short form, it is an excitatory neurotoxin and it is like glutamates. That's why glutamate agonist. And it has been identified as the constituent of kesari dal, that is chickling pea, that is responsible for the disease. So how BOAA exerts its effects through the mitochondrial toxicity. Hence, this is important. So letharism is caused by the excessive consumption of kesari dal. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is the normal temperature of human body on the Kelvin scale is option A 280 Kelvin, option B 290 Kelvin, option C 300 Kelvin, option D 310 Kelvin. This is the easiest question of today, I guess. So the answer to this question is option D 310 Kelvin. So the normal temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, as you all know. So how to calculate it in Kelvin scale? Just add 273 to it. What you get? 310. So 310 Kelvin is the correct answer of normal human body temperature. Hence option D is the correct answer. Now let's look at the next question. Parotid salivary glands are present. Option A below the tongue, option B below the cheeks, option C in the angle between two jaws, option D below the eye orbits. So the answer to this question is option B below the cheeks. So there are, as you all know, in our body there are three pairs of salivary glands. Parotids are present below the cheeks, submaxillary or submandibular in the lower jaw, and the sublingual below the tongue. Lingual means tongue, sub means underneath, hence sublingual are present below the tongue. Submaxillary mandibular, submandibular, mandibular, it is the lower jaw, sub is underneath, hence it is present lower jaw. You can itself identify by the terminology of the glands. So if you know what is mandibular, what is meaning of sub, you can guess the location of salivary glands. Parotids, it is below the cheeks. So question in the question, parotid salivary glands, these are present below the cheeks. Hence option B is the correct answer of this question. Now let's look at the other question. If for some reason the parietal cells of the gut epithelium become partially non-functional, what is likely to happen? Option A, the pancreatic enzymes and especially the trypsin and lipase will not work efficiently. B, the pH of stomach will fall abruptly. C, steapsin will be more effective. D, proteins will not be adequately hydrolyzed by pepsin into proteoses and peptones. So the answer to this question is option D. Protein will not be adequately hydrolyzed by pepsin into proteases and peptones. What are the function of parietal cells? Parietal or oxyntic cells, it secrete gastric acid, HCl, and intrinsic factor. So if these are absent, HCl would not be present and intrinsic factor. For the hydrolysis of proteins to take place by pepsin into proteases and peptones, the acidic pH is necessary, that is provided by HCl. So HCl is necessary. But in this condition, HCl is not present, hence this will not take place. Hence option D is the correct answer. Proteins will not be adequately hydrolyzed by pepsin into proteases and peptones. I hope this is clear to you. Now let's look at the other option. The pancreatic enzymes and especially the trypsin and lipase will not work efficiently. They are not related with the parietal cells. The parietal cells are the part of the stomach. These are the part of pancreas and intestine. Hence this is incorrect. The pH of stomach will fall. No, it will rise because parietal cells secrete HCl that decrease the pH. So pH will rise when these cells are absent. HCl would not be present. Hence this is the incorrect statement. Steapsin will be more effective. It is a part of pancreatic in secretion. It is not related with the parietal cells. Hence, option C is incorrect. Option D is the correct option for this question. Now let's look at the other question. A healthy person eats the following diet: 5 gram of raw sugar, 4 gram of albumin. What is albumin? It is the plasma protein. 10 gram of pure buffalo ghee adulterated with 2 gram vegetable ghee, hydrogenated vegetable oil, and 5 gram lignin. How many calories he is likely to get? Option A 144, option B 126, option C 164, option D 112. So you can answer only when you know the physiological values of calories provided by the different components of food. So the answer to this question is 144 kilocalorie. Let's look how the answer is 144. Physiological value of carbohydrates is 4 kilocalories per gram. So 4 kilocalories per gram is provided by carbohydrates. Proteins also provide 4. Fats provide 9. So fats provide 9 kilocalorie per gram. Hence 5 gram of raw sugar. What is sugar? It is an carbohydrate. Hence 5 into 4, 20 kilocalorie will be provided by raw sugar, 5 gram. 4 gram of albumin. Albumin, it is a plasma protein. So protein provides 4 kilocalorie per gram. So 4 gram of albumin will provide 16 kilocalorie. Now the fats is 10 plus 2 gram of fat. Fat per gram provides 9 kilocalorie. So 12 will provide 12 into 9, 108 kilocalorie. Adding this and this, we get 144. Hence 144 is the correct answer. Option A. I hope this question is clear to all of you. Now let's look at the other question. Other question is, which of the following statement is true? Option A. Pepsin cannot digest casein. Option B. trypsin can digest collagen. Option C, pepsin cannot digest collagen. Option D, chymotrypsin can digest casein. So the answer to this question is option D. So milk protein, it can be digested by pepsin and chymotrypsin. Earlier in infants, it is digested by the renin. I told you earlier in my class. But as the adult grows, its function is replaced by the pepsin and chymotrypsin. Pepsin can digest casein and it is incorrect. So the chymotrypsin can digest casein, it is correct. Chymotrypsin can digest casein, it is the correct option. Hence, option D statement is true. I hope this question is clear to everyone. Let's move to the next question. So these are the assertion, reason, AR based questions. Direction. These questions consist of two statements, each printed as assertion and reason. While answering these questions, you are to required choose one of the following four responses. It is not five, four. Assertion: scurvy is caused by deficiency of vitamin. Reason: deficiency of ascorbic acid causes scurvy. Option A: if both assertion and reason are correct and the reason is a correct explanation of the assertion. Option B: if both assertion and reason are correct but reason is not a correct explanation of the assertion. Option C: if the assertion is correct but reason is incorrect. Option D: if both the assertion and reason are incorrect. So the answer to this question is, I hope I told you a lot of in this class about vitamin C. So deficiency of vitamin C or ascorbic acid is another name causes scurvy. So both the assertion reason statements are interrelated. Reason is explaining the assertion. Hence, option A is the correct answer. I hope this question is clear to everyone. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, again, it's the year based question. So before reading direction, I start with assertion only. Assertion: in the condition of obstructive jaundice, large amounts of unabsorbed fats are eliminated out of the body. Reason: entry of bile into the small intestine is prevented during obstructive jaundice. Option A: if both assertion and reason are correct and the reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Option B: if both assertion and reason are correct, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. Option C: if assertion is correct, but reason is incorrect. Option D: if both assertion and reason are incorrect. So the answer to this question is option A. Let's look how. So what occurs in obstructive jaundice? In obstructive jaundice, the entry of bile into the small intestine doesn't occur. Why? Because there is the obstruction of bile duct. So you have to remember one important thing in obstructive jaundice, that there is obstruction of bile duct. As we all know, what is the function of bile salts? They help in digestion of fats by emulsification, and also in their form absorption by the formation of mices. What are mices? These are the water soluble droplets from which fatty acids, glycerides, sterols, and fat soluble vitamins are absorbed. Therefore, in the as the duct is blocked, bile would not come in intestine, so the emulsification of fat wouldn't occur. Fat would remain and eliminated out of the body in the feces. So as emulsification of fat doesn't occur, as bile doesn't reach the small intestine, so it results in obstructive jaundice. So option is correct. Reason is explaining the assertion. Now let's look at the next question. Next question is, trypsin helps in blood digestion of predator animals. Reason: trypsin hydrolyzes fibrinogen. Option A: if both assertion and reason are correct and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. I will be using A for assertion and R for reason. So let's not get confused. If both A and R are correct, but R is not the correct explanation of A, if A is correct but reason is incorrect, if both A and R are incorrect. A stands for assertion and R for reason, because all the incoming questions are of assertion reason type. So the answer to this question is again A, reason explain assertion. So trypsin, it is a protein digesting enzyme small in, present in the small intestine, released into the small intestine. What is it the function? As as it cannot digest casein, though, but in predator animals drinking the blood of their prey, what trypsin causes? It hydrolyzes fibrinogen of blood into fibrin. So by this, it leads to the blood coagulation, thus helping blood digestion. It's another function also. It is autocatalytic. It is autocatalytic. It is autocatalytic. So it activates other pancreatic proteases. Reason explains assertion. It helps in blood digestion by forming the fibrinogen into fibrin. Hence, option A is correct. Now, the assertion is lipases or bile help in the emulsification of fats. Reason lipases can break large fat droplets into the smaller ones. Option A and B, C and D. Option A, if both A and R are correct and R is the correct explanation of A. Option B, if both assertion and reason are correct, but reason it's not the correct explanation of assertion. Option C, if assertion is correct, but reason is incorrect. Option D, if both assertion and reason are incorrect. Now, the answer to this question is option D. Both assertion and reason are incorrect. As you all know, it is not the function of lipase emulsification. It is the function of bile salts. I told you in the earlier question also that helps in the emulsification of fats. What are bile salts? These are the steroids secreted by the liver in the bile. So when they come into the intestinal lumen, they reduce the surface tension, causing their breakdown into smaller one particles. So a stable fine emulsion of fat is formed by the action of bile salts. So that is the function of bile salts. You have to remember that it causes emulsification of fats. Now, what is the function of lipase? Lipase function, it is not the emulsification. Its function is it can digest fat in significant amounts only when the emulsification is caused. That is, large fat droplets are broken into tiny to form a fine emulsion. So emulsification of bad fats by the bile salts increases the lipase action on fats. Hence, this is option D is correct because both of them are incorrect. It is not lipase. It is actually bile salts. And it is also function of bile salts. That is breaking of large flat droplets into smaller ones. It is emulsification of fat. That is function of bile salts. Hence both statements are incorrect. Option D is the correct answer. I hope this question is clear to everyone. Now let's look at the another question. Assertion. Starch is hydrolyzed by ptyalin into maltose. What is ptyalin? It is the starch amylase. Reason. Sucrase hydrolyzes sucrose to lactose. If both A and R are correct and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Option B, if both A and R are correct but R is not the correct explanation of A. Option C, if A is correct but R is incorrect. Option D, if both A and R are incorrect. So the answer to this question is option C. I hope I told you both of related to both of the options in earlier questions also. What is the function of starch salivary amylase? It breaks down starch into maltose, isomaltose, and dextrin. So hence assertion is correct. You can see assertion is starch is hydrolyzed by ptyalin. What is ptyalin? It is the salivary amylase released by the salivary glands to maltose. This statement is correct. Now sucrase or another name is invertase. It hydrolyzes sucrose into glucose plus fructose. I told in earlier questions also. So, but in the reason it is mentioned, it hydrolyzes sucrose to lactose. This is incorrect. So assertion is correct, but reason is incorrect. Hence option C is correct. Option C is the correct option for this question. Now let's look at the next question of today. Next question is, water and electrolytes are almost fully absorbed in the large intestine. Reason, in large intestine, hostile contractions, that is slow segmenting movements, roll the forming fecus over and over, causing absorption of water and electrolytes. Option A, if both A and R are correct, but R is the correct explanation of assertion. Option B, if both A and R are correct, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Option C, if A is correct, but R is incorrect. Option D, if both the A and R are incorrect. A is for assertion and R I used for reason. So the answer to this question is option A. A and R are correct and R is also the correct explanation of A. So the water and electrolytes, these are absorbed in the large intestine. Why? Because the movements are occurring because of the fecus movement that causes the absorption of water electrolytes, the hostile contractions that causes absorption of water and electrolytes. Both statements are correct and reason is also the correct explanation of assertion. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Option A is the correct answer. I hope this question is clear to everyone. Now let's look at the another question. So that's all for today. I hope you all learned the almost every concept related to digestion and absorption. That's all from my side. Thank you.